what I want to do now is to welcome David Buxton, who I regard as my friend of long-standing, who is a very strong advocate of deaf rights, being profoundly deaf himself, as the chief executive of the BDA, and he's now going to speak to us. So, David, over to you.
Minister, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, the British Deaf Association, the Royal Association for Deaf People and Signature are delighted to be collaborating on organising this reception to mark such an important date for deaf users of British Sign Language. On behalf of my fellow Chief Executives, Jan Sheldon of RAD and Jim Edwards of Signature, may I also say how grateful we are that you have all made the time to be with us today. And Sir Malcolm, a big thank you for hosting this event. Thank you too for your many years of support for deaf people and your chairmanship of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Deafness. British Sign Language, or BSL, has been part of our country's heritage for hundreds of years. But it took a long struggle by deaf people before the government officially recognised BSL on the 18th of March 2003, exactly 10 years ago today. BSL is now recognised as a language with its own vocabulary, grammar and syntax, which are quite different from English. I'm also pleased that today with us are Andrew Smith, MP, who's over the back, at the back. Also Maria Eagle, MP, is here somewhere. Where is she? Is she here? Both of us were with us 10 years ago when recognition happened in 2003. We remain truly grateful to it. Recognition did not give BSL any new legal rights. The lack of equality remains a big problem. But life today is a bit easier for deaf people than in 2003. For example, there are more interpreters, more subtitling and signing on television. Video phone technology is better. Access to work has helped deaf people to find and keep jobs, so there have been positives. But there are still not enough interpreters for the many thousands of deaf people who use BSL. One example I can give you, an elderly deaf lady told the BDA that when her deaf husband had a stroke, the hospital couldn't get an interpreter, so he wasn't treated within the hour. As a result, he went blind. That shows a tragic situation. Many deaf people can't get work, and if they do, they're often passed over for promotion. Too many deaf students in mainstream secondary schools are expected to learn complicated subjects using a communication support worker whose BSL skills are not as good as the deaf students. You will see postcards on the tables here about the NDCS's campaign against the cuts to specialist services for deaf children. Please support this campaign. I'm sure that Susan Daniels is here, so I'd like to congratulate Susan for the work the NDS has been doing. I would encourage the MPs here to ask 2 questions to the deaf children, young people and adults here today. First, why is BSL so important to you? And second, what problems do you face as a BSL user? I think the answers will interest you. I hope they will move you to action. There is also some good news. I know the Minister will be saying more about the government support for deaf BSL users. I welcome what is being done to improve sign language support for very young deaf children and at school. I welcome the thinking about finding new ways of funding video relay services. Every piece of government support is welcome. However, this support is very fragmented. It needs to be better coordinated. We need a centrally driven, long-term strategy to support BSL users. If the Minister agrees, of course, one Minister will be needed to be responsible for coordinating this. Ms McVeigh, would you be interested in having the job? If so, you can rest assured that all of us here today would support you in a united, positive and constructive way. As a first step, it would be good to set up a cross-governmental body such as a BSL reference group. This could issue a report that brings together what different government departments are doing to support deaf BSL users. The report could be used to help develop a cross-government strategy for BSL. I would ask all MPs to sign Early Day Motion 1167, which urges the government to prepare this cross-departmental report. We must also work for change at a local level. This is essential. Whether it be from a local level or at a national level. I should mention here a new Facebook campaign that was recently set up called Spit the Dummy. This is calling for BSL to get the same legal rights and protection as Welsh has. I applaud the campaign's youthful energy and enthusiasm. We need to give careful consideration to the difference that legal recognition for BSL would make to deaf people's lives. There are many details to be worked through. That will be a long process. In the meantime, we cannot afford to wait to make the changes that deaf people need now. We must not allow ourselves to be distracted from reducing the barriers that face deaf people on the ground today. Our shared priority must be to win practical improvements to the lives of deaf BSL users in their local communities, with health services, schools, colleges, workplaces and so on. That is what the BDA intends to focus on. Minister, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years on from the recognition of BSL, we have plenty still to do. I look forward to working in partnership with the government, Parliament, the sector, and all those who have an interest in making our vision of equality for deaf people a reality. On behalf of the BDA and my colleagues at RAD and Signature, thank you again for being here with us today, and thank you for listening.